Hey everyone, this is Justin with SILLAGE Scents. I have got a list of fragrances for you that are perfect as we transition towards the end of winter this next month or so and head into spring. So these are some fragrances that work great in winter, they work great in spring. So these are going to be ones you'll want to wear over these next several months. As we get going, please subscribe to the channel. We've been growing as a channel lately, and I really appreciate those of you who have been sticking with me. And also let me know in the comments, what are some fragrances you would add to this list? And do you have any of these, and what do you think of them? All right, let's go first with an absolute classic. This is a great signature scent. It's an all year round fragrance, but it's one that's got a good bit of freshness that's strong enough really to work even in the cold winter, and it really shines in the spring. This is TERRE d'Hermes, the original. You know, I was torn which of the TERRE d'Hermes to get because I wanted good performance and I thought about the parfum, but I weighed the differences and I really love the way the original smells over the parfum. And it turns out this one is a beast mode performer, easily a 12-hour fragrance. And what you're going to get with this one is one of the best orange notes in the designer world, with also an earthiness. Some say like a dirty orange. I think that's a bit much, but an earthy orange. That earthiness is coming from vetiver. This is a beautiful citrus vetiver fragrance. The vetiver is not overdone, but it is very noticeable, and the orange and the earthiness just blend together, and you've got a very distinct, super classy, long-lasting fragrance, perfect for that transition time over the next several months. All right, the next one we've got is actually a clone, but this is a good clone, and it's a clone of a fragrance that most guys who have a collection own, and that is Dior Sauvage. This one is the pride of ARMAF, and it's a clone that really falls right in between the EDT and the EDP of Dior Sauvage. This is a great fragrance. It's not quite as sort of screechy and in your face in the opening as the EDT is, although I do like Sauvage EDT. It's a little toned down like the EDP, but it really does kind of slot right in the middle there. So the pride of ARMAF, you're going to get that beautiful kind of citrus, peppery opening. You're going to get that wonderful ambroxan balm kind of feel. But something that for around $30 is going to get you very close to Sauvage. And it's about a 7-hour fragrance, so pretty good performance for the price as well. All right, next we're going to go with one that is really becoming a classic. It's a very popular blue fragrance. It's one that kind of does it all. I'm talking, of course, about Versace Dylan Blue. And so Dylan Blue is one of the quintessential blue fragrances. You've got sort of a citrus ginger opening, and then you get into the mid and the dry down, and you've got ambroxan and woods. You've got that bright blue scent that so many others have. You know, it's got a little bit of a Bleu de Chanel vibe. It's got a little bit of a Sauvage vibe, nowhere near as peppery or strong as Sauvage. But this one is interesting in that it's got an incense note that gives it a little bit of mysteriousness, and all of the facets of sort of that ginger citrus opening, the ambroxan, the woods, the incense make it a really interesting fragrance, and one you can absolutely wear all year round, no matter how you're dressed, no matter where you're going. One of the most versatile fragrances ever invented. So this is a really good one. All right, next up, we're going to go with one that is also a clone. I didn't realize I have so many clones in this video, but these are just fragrances that I really love and that I think go well during this time. This one is a clone of a Creed fragrance. This is ARMAF Club de Nuit Sillage. And this one is going to give you something that's very close to Silver Mountain Water by Creed. So this is a very interesting fragrance. Some people say that you smell tea, that you smell something that reminds you of ink. You've got a floral quality, you've got a spicy quality in this fragrance. And this one is really interesting because it changes so much. In the opening, what I get is something that's kind of like white tea, and then something that's kind of like, that will remind you a little bit of ink, but it's also got ambroxan done in a very interesting way that really smells like ambergris. It's going to remind you a lot of the Creed, but then as it dries down, the florals really start to come out. You've got some jasmine and some other florals in the heart of this one, and there's also a spicy note that almost reminds me of almost like an incense. It's just hard to describe. A little spicy, something reminds me a little bit of incense. And that ambroxan is a real standout. Ambroxan is such a nondescript note, but they did it so well in this one to remind you of ambergris. If you can imagine sort of white tea, a touch of that inkiness, some florals, and some ambroxan, then that's what you're going to get with this one. In the opening, you do have some beautiful fruits that are going to come out, going to remind you a little bit of ARMAF Milestone or Milesium Imperial by Creed, just a tad bit in the opening. This is a really good one at a really great price. And the next one is also a clone. You know, I'm not going to apologize because these are all great fragrances, but I'm just realizing as I'm getting into it, this one is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. And this one is beast mode, just like Elixir is. This is Alexandria Fragrance's version of Sauvage Elixir. It's just called Et Sauvage Elixir, I believe. Yeah, Et Sauvage Elixir. This one is so much like the original Sauvage Elixir. I've worn the original Elixir 3 or 4 times. I absolutely love it. But to me, this is the clone you want to get if you're just going to get one. This is a 30 mil. I've had this for probably 6 months, and I've worn it a good bit. But if you put more than 3 sprays of this, you're going to choke yourself out. This is an extrait. I think all of Alexandria's fragrances are. This isn't a sponsored video or a collab. I'm just telling you, this is a great clone. It's a great fragrance. It is so very close to the original Sauvage. Some reviewers that have done side by side say it's like 97% similar. You know, how do you judge that? But it is super close. It's super strong. An excellent clone of Sauvage Elixir, Alexandria Et Sauvage Elixir. So there you go. There's some fragrances that are going to be perfect for the end of winter on into the spring. Most of these you could really wear all year round. Actually, all of them you could wear all year round. But again, let me know in the comments, what would you add to the list? And please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.